All right, let's talk about something we've all felt, but almost never talk about. It's one of the most powerful, painful, and universal human emotions, and it loves to live in the shadows. We're talking about shame, that hidden wound that can totally shape our lives without us even realizing it. So let's dive in and bring it into the light.
Right off the bat, I want to start with this definition from the incredible researcher Brené Brown, and I want you to really pay attention to the wording here. Shame isn't just about feeling bad. It's the deep, gut-level belief that we are fundamentally flawed. And because of that flaw, we're not worthy of the two things we all need to survive: love and belonging. It's an attack on our very right to connect with other people.
And this leads us to a super important distinction. We tend to use the word shame and guilt like they're the same thing, but honestly, they are worlds apart. Guilt is all about our behavior. It says, I did something bad. And you know what? That can be pretty healthy. It's what makes us apologize or try to fix a mistake. But shame, shame is a whole different beast. It takes that bad thing and makes it our identity. Shame doesn't say, I did something bad. It whispers, I am bad. See the difference? It's huge.
A theorist named Sylvan Tompkins just put it so perfectly. He called shame an inner torment, a sickness of the soul. And that really hits home, doesn't it? It feels like a wound that comes from the inside out, something that rots you from your core.
So why is shame so powerful? Why does it have such a grip on us? Well, because it's like a mushroom. It grows best in the dark. These three things right here, they're like gasoline on a fire for shame. Secrecy. No one can ever find this out. Silence. I can't possibly talk about this. And judgment. From other people, sure, but the worst is almost always the judgment we heap on ourselves. The more we hide our stories, the bigger and stronger shame gets.
Okay, so let's play detective for a minute. Where does this profound sense of being flawed actually come from? Because it's not random. There's an architecture to it, a blueprint that's usually drawn up really, really early in our lives.
We're not talking about that time you tripped in front of everyone. We're talking about something way deeper: core shame. The key words to focus on are ruptures in our earliest relationships. This is all about the breaking of that connection, that interpersonal bridge between a child and their caregiver. When that bridge breaks, the child absorbs that feeling of disconnection, and it becomes a fundamental part of who they think they are.
And this lays out the sequence perfectly. Look, it all starts with our basic biological need for attachment. Then, when that connection, that interpersonal bridge, is broken or just isn't reliable, it happens during the supercritical period of our right brain's development. And the result of that perfect storm? The foundation for core shame gets poured. Now, to really get why this is so sticky, we got to do a super quick tour of the brain. Think of your left brain as the librarian. It's all about logic, language, and linear thinking. But your right brain, that's the artist. It's the world of feeling, intuition, images, and nonverbal connection. It's where our emotional self really lives.
And just like we have two sides of the brain, we kind of have two types of memory. Explicit memory is the stuff you consciously recall: facts, what you ate for breakfast, stories you can tell. But implicit memory is unconscious. It's the emotional, nonverbal, bodily memory of an experience. It's a feeling, not a fact.
And this is the key. This is why shame is so incredibly hard to deal with. Core shame doesn't live in your logical, word-based left brain. It is stored deep in your right brain, in your body's unconscious, implicit memory. That's why you can't just think your way out of it or talk yourself out of it. It's a felt sense, a physical experience that hums along just below the surface of our conscious thoughts.
And the work of Erik Erikson shows us exactly when we're most vulnerable. Just look at that first window, between 1.5 and 3 years old. The main developmental task for a toddler is learning autonomy versus internalizing shame. So, when a little kid's natural drive to explore, to say no, to do it themselves, is met with constant criticism or harsh control, they don't learn that their actions were wrong, they learn that they are wrong at their very core.
Okay, that was a lot, I know, a deep dive into the problem. But the story absolutely does not end there, because for every poison, there's an antidote. And the journey to heal from shame has a very specific and incredibly powerful starting point.
And here it is. It's just one word: empathy. Not sympathy, which is feeling for someone, not pity. Empathy, feeling with someone. It is the single most powerful force we have to counteract the experience of shame.
But why? How on earth can a feeling be a biological antidote to another feeling? It's an amazing question, and the answer, believe it or not, takes us right back to the brain.
Here's the magic. Empathy works because it meets shame right where it lives. Remember, shame is a right brain disconnecting experience. Well, empathy is a right brain connecting experience. When someone truly offers us empathy, it literally helps to co-regulate our nervous system. It physically calms us down. It fires up our mirror neurons, which allows us to feel seen and understood, and that feeling directly undoes the profound aloneness that shame creates. It's a biological repair job.
This quote from Patricia DeYoung just nails it. Because shame is born from broken relationships, it has to be healed inside a safe relationship. We cannot do this work alone in a vacuum. We actually need another regulated human brain to help our own brain change, heal, and build new pathways.
So, with empathy as our tool, as our guide, we can start the real work. And this work isn't about tearing something down. It's about building something new. It's about the beautiful, messy, rewarding process of rebuilding our authentic self.
I absolutely love this idea. You can't just delete the memories or experiences that built the shame. That's not how it works. But you can change the story you tell yourself about them. Healing is an active process. It's about taking the pen back into your own hand and writing a new narrative for your life, one that's based not on your flaws but on your inherent worth. And if you're wondering how to even start, here's a really practical roadmap. First, you have to recognize what's happening. What does shame feel like in your body? Then, you respect it. Respect that this feeling was a survival strategy you learned long ago to stay safe. Third, you regulate. You calm your nervous system, often with the help of a safe person. And only then, from that place of safety, can you begin to re-story the experience with compassion.
So after all this work, the recognizing, the regulating, the messy, hard work of restoring, what's the point? What's the ultimate prize at the end of this journey? The goal is not to become perfect. It's not to become some invulnerable robot who never feels shame again. The goal is so much better than that. The goal is to reconstruct and reclaim your authentic self, the you that exists underneath all the layers of shame and the stories of not enoughness. And this isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. The authentic self has real, tangible qualities. It's aware of its feelings without getting swept away by them. It's truthful. It's hopeful. It's energizing to be around. And maybe most importantly, it approaches life and itself not with judgment, but with genuine curiosity. It is the core of who you truly are. I just want to leave you with this beautiful, beautiful passage from the Velveteen Rabbit. Becoming real, becoming authentic, isn't about being perfect or new or shiny. It's a process of being lived in, of weathering storms, and of being loved right through it all. It's about becoming authentic. And once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. Thanks for exploring this with me today.